Hello and welcome to the Hunter Call of the Wild, and for this series we're going to be starting a brand new save, so let's jump in, let's get going.
You made it here in one piece. Welcome to the untamed wild. Name's Colton Locke, but everyone calls me Doc. I'm the warden up here, and I know just about every nook and cranny of this place. I heard this is your first time in the Pacific Northwest and Lake District. Well, this here's the best hunting reserve you'll find in 100 miles. I've been hunting here my whole life, and I still don't get tired of this place. Go ahead, look around. There's a lot to discover around here, not just the big game. Let's see what you can do. Try to find an animal track around here.
Okay, so Colton Locke, aka Doc, wants us to find an animal track. We've got an animal right in front of us, I'm pretty sure you can see that. Now this isn't my first time playing Hunter Call of the Wild. I've been playing on and off for about a decade, but quite recently, good friends of the channel, Schwardo and Mr. T-Ball, have been getting into their hunting games, and it sort of reinvigorated my want to come and hunt for a bit, and following along with them and what they're doing has been great fun. With Schwardo, he's been playing Hunter Call of the Wild. Mr. T-Ball has been playing Way of the Hunter, both excellent games. And I thought, you know what, I want a piece of this action. I want to join in with the fun, and yeah, we're going to start a brand new profile and see how it goes. Like I said, I've been playing for quite a while. I'm no master hunter by any means. I will make mistakes. I know the mechanics and I know the things we need to do. It's one of those cases of I'm just not very good at implementing what I need to do. But we're going to try and get some sort of shot off on this deer. Be nice if she'd turn around and show us a bit of side, or if not we'll just have to come around to her. Try and get a bit of lung. Do I shoot her in the arse? Another one up there. Whitetail on the move by the looks of it. So yeah, also this series we're going to try and do some of the story quests, because that's not something I've ever really sort of done much of. So that's what we're going to do to try and open the map up. That weren't there when I first started, so that's a lot of that is a bit new. We're going to be going with our Ranger 243. Now this is just soft tips. We've not got polymers or anything like that. We've not got any of our skills, any of the tricks of the trades that we had to reach our high levels earlier on. That's in the lung from behind. She'll go down pretty quick. There's a bear running off in the distance as well. All good. Now for this first, I know, a few hours, I guess, we're not going to have any sort of restrictions on what we're shooting. We're going to be trying to shoot for money and for rifle score. We're going to try and, you know, get what we can. We are going to be using the DLC. I have pretty much all the DLC other than texture packs and skins and stuff like that. So we'll use what we can. We'll just track that poo. That'll take the track anyway. Right. Where'd the deer go? Where's she gone? There she be. She didn't go far. Like I say, nice easy long shot from behind, coming in at that angle. Let's confirm her. So there we are, we can see as it came in, straight in, not that deep a penetration. You don't get a lot of penetration with the Ranger. You do need to get close. But as you can see down here, we have ammo score, shooting it within 2 or less, trophies if they have some, and a vital organs hit, which is what you always want to be aiming for. We never want to be aiming for the skull. You don't aim for the spine. Once upon a time you could. I think the neck still counts as a vital organ, but you want to be going for lungs, bit of liver sometimes is alright. Don't want to be going bowel. I don't think stomach either. What you really want is heart, which you can get from the front on. You get a nice front on, you just aim above the little fatty tissue at the bottom there. But a nice way of doing it. Slide on, straight into the lung, as you see, just behind the leg there. It's always worthwhile taking a little look at the animal once you've shot it, just to get to know the anatomy of it, know what you're hitting, know what you're aiming for, what you can get from where. Because if you come in on the side, you've got to get through the leg, you might have to get through bone, and with these soft tips, you're not going to penetrate. Once you've got a polymer tip, once you've got a higher caliber gun, it's not so much of a trouble. Anyway, we'll accept that. We don't need to save it or taxidermatize it. It's fine.
You want to get your bearings. There are lookout points spread out all over the reserve.
Okay, so I should imagine he's just given us another quest. We'll accept that. So we've got to go and hit the lookout tower, which is just up ahead. So we're just going to try and knock off these starting missions and doing stuff with him. If we see someone along the way, possibly have a shot. I probably won't try and take down a bear with this caliber rifle. Not from this far, not when it's on the move. It'll just be a long track. That's the trouble. You've not got the right caliber, so we'll let that go. If on the way up to the lookout we come across some whitetail or some blacktail, we'll see if we can get some. So on the way up here, hopefully we just heard just now as well. There they are. Now last time I was here, we didn't have turkeys, so this is something new to the map. Now we don't have the right caliber gun to really be shooting turkeys. We want something a bit smaller. Although, have we got a handgun? That's 2 as well. See, recommended classes. We want a recommended class 1 for turkeys. And everything we've got is a 2. But if we can get close enough, we might be able to take it out of a shot. Blow it out of the sky if it decides to fly off, maybe. But yeah, I've hunted turkeys before. I'm going to say, it's never on this map.
Points spread out all over the reserve.
Oh, it's repeated our first mission for us for some reason. Oh, I hope we're not going to get a glitched save. Actually, we're not carry gun. We'll have our binocs in hand, but we'll examine, and we'll keep that because that's a need zone now. So that'll be locked in if we ever need to come and get turkeys. We know where to come. They should get some pop up here on a regular basis. The need zone will tell you what time of day and everything like that. So let's have a little confirm of our trophy. Like I say, it's the wrong caliber of weapon. Hopefully we haven't messed up. That would have been a gold, but hopefully that'll come back eventually with something there. We get a silver because we got a reduced score from using the wrong weapon. As you see, a 412, that would have been a gold. But we'll keep that. Oh, we won't keep it, but we'll accept that. And a level up. We'll look into level ups once we've ticked off a few more of these things. Now, over here, we're going to run. Don't worry, we're going to run. We have our first POI, point of interest. So we'll go and see that. Oh, more turkeys. They are frisky. They're about. We'll not shoot them all. We don't want to ruin the need zone, especially by taking them out with a weapon that is way too over caliber. So if we inspect it, we've got a written note. Left this note here for someone to find. Whoever they are, walk in peace. Go north to find the closest outposts. You can't miss the curious tombstones close by. And we'll get some XP from that, and you collect the lore of the maps. Each map has its own sort of lore and story to it and things like that. So once again, we're going to resist the turkeys, and we're going to head up to the outpost up there. So here we are, our first lookout tower. Around the lookout tower we've got a few rabbit drop-ins. No deer or anything at the minute. Now that little note that we picked up a short while ago no longer actually points to the very first outpost. Since that note was placed and since the game came out, they've actually added in a much closer first outpost, which is the one that we'll head to. But look at that. Absolutely beautiful, this game. Absolutely beautiful. Look at the views. The vistas. Stunning. That's one of the reasons why I've always enjoyed just coming to Layton Lakes. It's just the views here are beautiful. So we'll survey the lookout point.
Would you look at that view? Never gets old, I'm telling you. From up here, you can see a lot of great hunting spots in the area. Valmont's not only where Hope set up camp, it's also famous for the railroad bridges along the old North Pacific line. Keep an eye out for them if you can in between blacktail hunting. Or why not use them as vantage points? I once bagged a whitetail from the Runaki Bridge. Be sure to stop by one of the outposts. You can find pretty much anything you need there.
Okay, so we're going to head to this outpost over here. We're going to place our waypoint on it. But the initial outpost that was being referenced is this one up here. So you used to come in and have to walk that far to hit an outpost. Now we just go over there. So we'll head over in a second. We're just going to go over hunting pressure. These purple areas are hunting pressure. The more you kill in an area, the darker this will get, and they will overlap. If you have a need zone within an area and you get 3 layers of hunting pressure on, you will lose that need zone until you clear the hunting pressure off. To clear the hunting pressure off, you have to go off and hunt elsewhere. Apply pressure elsewhere, animals can then come back to where you've already hunted. Now, there is a chance that animals will come back to near where you had a need zone, but it won't necessarily be right on top. So within this area, there might be a new feeding area over here or down here, but there is the likelihood of a need zone coming back. And this was our turkeys, so we're not too worried about that. Different weapons create different amounts of hunting pressure. I think if you use a bow or a crossbow, you get 50% of the hunting pressure, so half the hunting pressure. If you hunt from, I think, a stand, a hunting chair, or a tree hide, then you get 50% hunting pressure as well, I believe. We'll probably find that out along the way as we go. But let's make our way over to the outpost, and if we find anything good along the way, we'll see if we can have a shot at it. So just off from the lookout tower, as you can see, we found some white-tail tracks. Fortunately, they're headed in the direction we want to go. So we'll see if we can follow these. I should imagine they're on their way to a water and need zone, a drinking need zone this time of day. A big part of the game is learning where and when the animals are eating, drinking, sleeping. We've got here whitetail. Yeah, they're heading that way. So I think that's off to the water. Quite a herd by the look of it, quite a herd. All the drop-ins along that trail were coming up as very old, which means obviously that the herd passed through quite a while ago, so we didn't bother going off and following that for now. Later on we may well. So we're just having a little, since we're not too worried about anything being around, we're just going to have a little run, and we're going to hit the outpost. And to trigger the outpost, we just claim it from the flagpole. Everything will turn up.
Nice place, right? You won't find a soft bed in many parts around here. Don't forget to stock up before heading out.
So at outposts, you do have, we go inside, a bed that you can rest at. Now you don't really need to rest. This is just a way of fast forwarding time. But if I click on it, I'll show you. Every time you sleep, it costs money. No matter how far, whether you progress forward an hour or 10 hours, 12 hours, it will cost you that set amount. Every time you sleep...
Hey there, you know that guy I mentioned earlier, Hope? Well, looks like he's been having a bit of a problem lately. He's been camping out over at Valmont a couple weeks, but coming back last night, he found his camp turned on its head. Some food was taken, and apparently the place looked like it had been really messed with. I don't know if it was an animal or some tourist troublemakers, but I'm up in Topeka all day and can't look into it. Listen, I know you probably have other plans, but you're in the right neck of the woods, and I'd sure be grateful if you could just stop on by and have a look.
Okay, we can do that.
Hope showed up here 2 years ago. Said something about getting off the grid. I heard he lost his family in an accident while he was deployed overseas in the army. Hit the poor guy hard. I guess out here you only need to look out for yourself. It's easier that way. Not the most cheerful fella, to be honest, but he's earned his peace for sure. Let's find out whoever did this.
Okay, so as I was saying, every time you sleep, it's going to cost you 250, but each time you sleep or rest, the price goes up. And I think it maxes out at 500. Don't quote me on that. I don't do a lot of resting. I'm one of those that have always walked around and just let time go by. There's always something to hunt. So while we're here, you also have your inventory, your store, your cache, as it is here. And from here you can access the store, purchase new rifles, manage your storage. You do have a carrying capacity. The more you carry, the more noise you make. So that's always something to be mindful of. We will get rid of those. We're not using them. We don't need the road air caller. We don't have road air. We'll keep the jackrabbit. We'll keep the glee. We'll take the buck snort. That's a handy one to have. So with the DLC, you do have a lot of extra things come in. If you purchase DLC packs, you will get a number of those items in the DLC, but you can always purchase more in the store as well. We do have a scent eliminator, which we'll probably go through a little bit later on. Set of binos. We have tents. We have blinds. We have a laydown blind for shooting geese. We have some waterfowl blinds for shooting ducks. We have deluxe tree stands. These are for fitting into trees. Certain trees will allow that. And we have the tripod stands that you can sit on and hunt from. We'll get to all these. Some of these won't be used here. Some we'll use on different maps and things like that. But that's what we've got. Now, for a little while, I did say we would possibly add in some DLC, but we're just going to run with the Ranger. I don't even think we need the Caversham. We'll take that out as well. Keep ourselves super light. We do have, because it was a community thing a long time ago now, we do have a free 270, but we cannot unlock the ammo for that. It's not worth switching over to that, in my opinion, until you can get the hollow points. So we'll just leave that there until we can get the hollow point bullets for that. If we go back to the store, you'll see we need a rifle score to unlock certain rifles, as well as the credits to purchase it. Now, originally, the 270 cost you 12,000 credits and a rifle score of 450. So the fact that we have one of them pretty much for free from the start is handy. And if we look at the ammo for the 270 down here, the soft points we could buy for it, but they are expensive, 450. But we want the polymers. That's what we want, not the hollow points, sorry, the polymers. And we need a rifle score of 700 for that, and they cost 700 as and they cost 700 as well. So we need to drop a few animals before we can bring them in. But our DLC weapons and stuff, they're all there anyway. But our next thing we really want is going to be, well, the Argoose. That's next. We want a better scope on our rifle, and then we want to be getting up here to the Hyperion, really. But that's a way off still at 550. Yeah, that's a little wait. And we do have a night vision. We're going to take that. And we're just going to check on our binos. Now, we do have a free night vision rangefinder. We won't worry about that for now. We don't worry about that. We've got tricks for doing rangefinding anyway. So I'm just going to sort my weapons in my inventory. I've then gone to my inventory. I'm just going to put my tools of the trade where I like to have them. It's not very often we use the wheel. Investigate tracks found at Hope's main camp is our next jobby. If we look at the map, come back in to the map. So Hope's camp is up that way. So we're going to take a trek. We'll probably come down and around, up and into Hope's camp. If we see something along the way, we'll have a little pop. So while we're having our little stroll, just go over what we've got on the HUD at the moment. Down bottom right, as you can see, we have our compass, giving us our northeast southwest bearings, and then the green cone is the direction that the wind is blowing towards and the way that our scent is going. These animals can smell us as we're going around. That's why you have the scent spray, so you can remove your spray. You remove your scent. You can always also get sprays that will replicate the scent of other animals, so you can then use that wind in that direction to lure certain animals into you as you're hunting, if you wish. Then we have our binos, which is shown as our equipped tool. Now we can cycle through our equipped tools on PC at the moment with the 1 through to 0 on the keyboard. You can scroll through on your mouse wheel, or as I've been doing today, we can just use this. All of them are pretty easy. So we got some very old moose droppings. There's probably some moose about. I find that on mine, I always have a lot of moose here, to the point that I hate moose. I go off hunting and seeking other animals and all I get is moose. See if there's anything about. I think my very first diamond ever was a moose, just through the abundance of moose I killed from having too many moose. So underneath our binos we have our health meter. We do have a health meter. The game does have fall damage. You can fall and hurt yourself. Also, the the animals can stampede, and if you get caught, you will get hurt. They can trample you to death. You just get knocked out unconscious and respawn back at your last or nearest outpost. Just scouring as we go. Then under that you have your heart rate. Now your heart rate is affected by your movement speed. So we're walking, so our heart rate is good. If we were to run, you'll see that start to beat, and eventually it will reach to a point of exhaustion. It'll go bright red, and that will then make it harder for us to shoot. Shooting on the run isn't something you want to do. This isn't a run and gun type game. Now if we bring out our rifle, if we were to aim, we can then hold our breath. You hear that? We're holding our breath, and our heart rate will start to go up until the point we run out of breath, and then the gun just sort of waves about like crazy, and then you slowly regain your heart rate. Now if you are crouched, you can regain your breath quicker, and also you have slightly longer hold of your breath because you're more relaxed. And then again, if you are completely prone, your heart rate will recover even quicker, and you can have again a slightly longer hold of breath. Prone is probably your better position to be in when taking a shot, if you can. Obviously, as you can see, we've got a lot of long grass. All the maps have a lot of long grass. Figuring out how to manage the environment, getting it to work for you, is something you have to do along the way. Let's get up and have a walk. There's lots of little things to take into account for as you're on your hunt. Then next to that, you'll see it's like a little circle that keeps popping and doing, and that's our visibility. So bright circle, we run out, up on the hill, light shining on us, we're moving, we are visible. Now as we stand still, we're slightly less visible, but we are clearly visible out in the open. We crouch, we're half visible. If we were to go prone, we are near invisible, but as soon as we start to move, our visibility increases. Now we can also hide in brush. You can hide under trees, in bushes. There's lots of different ways of disguising yourself. Changing your clothes, putting on skins. Skins are new to the game. I don't think they really make any difference to your visibility. You're in camo, you're a hunter, you're in camo full stop. That's just the thing. And then the next one is our sound, the amount of noise we're making. If it's in red, you're making way too much noise. We are just stomping our way through there. Now, at walking pace, generally, you make like full sound. If we run, we make more. If we run through brush and bush and trees, you see how we get that picked up with a bright red. We're making all the noise. We will scare everything around us. If we go to a crouch, you can see we make minimal noise. But our progress through the map, our progress to our point of interest is really slowing down. Now, when following animals, you used to go by a rule of, like, if you're tracking it and you're tracking, so you're checking on the drop-ins as you're going along the tracks and you get distance. Very old, you can run. Once you can start to spot the animal within about 200 meters, I'd always say drop down to a walk. Try to make as little sound as possible. Within 150 meters, you want to be getting low. If you're then trying to get within 100 meters, you want to be on your belly. You want to be down prone, you want to be crawling in. If you get within 50 meters, I mean, you've got to be still. You want to be still to get within 50 meters. Really. And as we unlock perks and skills, and we get more on the HUD, we'll go through them. But that's the basics. That's the basics of managing that. Your heart rate, your sound, your visibility, keeping it simple. Got this nice little old campsite here, look. Nothing else around, just thought I'd point that out. Found a nice little campsite. So again, moose. Moose in a rest zone. We're not going to worry about trying to take down any moose. We do not have the right caliber weapon for that. Now, it is largely considered that the best place for spotting animals and sort of racking up need zones is along the water's edge. Usually along the water's edge, as you can see, it's pretty clear. If you're across one side of the river or the stream or the lake, you can see across the other side. And once your map starts to populate, you can soon ping and mark up need zones. Also, as you're walking along, you might find the odd need zone and you can mark them up. Need zones are the key to populating your map. Every animal you come across will most likely have 2 drink zones, 2 feed zones, and 2 rest zones. And they will travel through those in a cycle every day or every couple of days. They will go from their rest to their feed to their drink to their rest to their feed to their drink to their rest, and they'll keep doing that throughout the day. Learning where these zones are, learning where these passages of travel are, is how you find your animals. Now, once you've found an animal and you've tracked it and you've got its need zone, that animal will remain on your map. So if you find yourself a diamond whitetail, but you've not got a shot on it, and it's just out walking around, track it to its need zone. Be patient with it, follow it in. Once you've got that need zone, even if you lose that animal, it will come back to the zones. If you can mark up as many of his zones as you can, then you'll have a better chance of finding it. And that's the same for all of them. Like at the moment, our map is pretty much empty. We haven't got a lot going on as we're walking around this starting area. But in time, as we find more animals, as we find more need zones, the map will populate more and more. Again, another moose rest zone. Bloody moose everywhere. That's all I ever get here these days. Now, just as I came around from finding that moose at its need zone, we've picked up a whitetail drink zone. So we've got a male, we've got a female, another female, and another male. They're about 200 meters away. Just have to be patient. But we've got ducks over there as well. We'll ping them. When you load in from your saves, or when you fast travel as well for that matter, or when you progress time, it takes a little while for your animals to reach their need zone. So if they're supposed to be somewhere at, say, 11 o'clock, and you speed your time up to 11, travel to where you want to get to, or travel to where you want to get to, and then speed up your time to 11, like rest, so that time travels, then those animals won't be there, because they are wherever they were before you fast traveled and before you sped up time. So if you do decide to speed up time and try and find an animal, give yourself an hour. So if you know that they're going to be at a particular spot at 11 o'clock, try and arrive, or try and do your travel, your fast travel, and your time travel, as it were. So you're about an hour beforehand. So if I do it, I tend to rest, then fast travel, give myself an hour, sometimes 2 hours before I need the animals to arrive at their need zones. Get myself in place, and then as your animals are coming in, you should be ready, rather than getting in there and there's nothing about and you start to panic or go wandering off and upsetting things. Yeah, so rather than have things go off and run away, or you thinking, oh, it's already 1 o'clock or it's already 11 o'clock, I need to run there, and then scaring everything off so that nothing's going to travel there because you've made so much noise arriving. Planning the hunt, planning the trip is a good way of trying to find these animals. We've got some more moose tracks here. This episode I'm not too worried about finding stuff to hunt. That might make it a bit boring, but we're just setting up, have a little chat about what we're doing, our tactics, and what we're finding. Deer antlers. Deer bucks either have a typical or atypical antler arrangement. Typical antlers are symmetrical and their points grow straight up off the main beam. Atypical antlers are asymmetrical and their points may project at any angle from the main beam. And again, that goes in our codex, and that'll be a few more experience points for us. There we are.
You're getting close. Hope mentioned seeing some tracks in the mud. See if you can find them.
So this is Hope's camp just up over here. Not too worried about scaring anything up here. We'll run in. We have a buildable hide. Now I think these normally cost... Oh. Scare. Oh, hello. Someone's not happy. Another fleeing moose. Oh, got a need zone for it as well. I think this might be for the rabbits. No, there's a rest zone for another moose. Right. So yeah, these can be built. Cost 1,700, which is most of our money, so we're not going to build this. But that's what they're for. By the way, we'll go over the need zone as well while we're here. You see the need zone, it tells you what time they rest, so moose will be in this area between 8 and 12. And by this area, I mean like, you can see like the zone, actual markup is over there, and that's 60 meters away. So you've probably got about 150 by 150 meter radius sort of circle that we can find moose in between those hours. And it also tells you at the minute that the moose is rated at an 8. So if we look at our gun, our recommended classes are 2 to 6, and that's why we don't bother going for moose with this rifle, because we are way too low for moose. Even with 2 shots, we'd struggle. In time, as we unlock things, you'll find that we get more information on our need zones, and again, as we get it, we'll cover it. So we'll inspect this. The Lake District Survival Camp. Richard Hope's meticulously built survivalist camp can be found across the Lake District region. When hunting is your main source of sustenance, it is very important to have a few safe havens to rest at. Now this is a good point to make, and that's something that in time we'll try and do with our tents, so that as well as having the outposts to travel to and to rest at, we can have our own tents placed at prime spots that we'd like to get to quickly and rest at, and you know, areas that we know that we're going to find.
You found them? Great. Snap some pictures for the record and see if they lead anywhere.
Now, for the life of me, I cannot remember what the camera is. Is it C? So we'll take some pictures.
Yeah, definitely human. Looks like a troublemaker then. Now, I don't want you to go picking any fights, but maybe you could follow them and see where they lead.
Okay, so we'll follow the tracks. This is pretty much to teach you about tracking, really. This is what this is. So we'll follow them. Normally you'd get your little... Got some fresh moose droppings there as well. Extra tracks to track. Hear that? We've got rabbits running around. I'm not worried about rabbits. Looks like we've got a bit of cloth. Follow our tracks.
Some ripped clothing. No more tracks, huh? Well, just leave it for now, and I'll see what I can come up with. This'll help, though. Thanks.
So we got 2.5 grand for that as a little reward. And we have... It's not wanting to show me my rabbit. But we've got rabbits out there. You can see that was a rabbit. Again, they want a 1 class rather than what we're using. So, heard from Doc you helped out at the camp. Thanks. Can you help me out some more? Then we've got, why don't you try hunting down a whitetail or a blacktail? Go for a clean hit in the dark. We've got some two new quests. So if we come in, mission log, they're both side missions. So Doc, travel to Lake Chila, harvest a whitetail deer or blacktail deer in the dark. And Hope says, find 3 footprints from 3 different blacktail deer. From our expeditions, we have a skill point and a perk point. They are different and they alternate. As you level up, they spread out as well. So to start with, you get 1 every level, then you get 1 every other level, then I think it's 1 every 3 levels, then 1 every 5 levels, and they still alternate. So we have our first skill point we'll put in, and that's going to go, you can choose Stalker or Ambusher. So we're going to go with Stalker. We take this, the directional tracking cone becomes more accurate and narrower, both in the world and on the map. So when we're tracking with our mate, we'll be able to see it. When we're on the map, we'll be able to see it, and actually on the ground, we'll be able to see a better direction of where things went. And then since we're using our rifle, we are going to go with muscle memory, and unlocks the ability to ready your next shot without leaving aim mode for rifles, shotguns, and handguns. So although it is a rifle, sometimes these will benefit you in other areas, the same as some of the shotgun and some of the handgun and some of the archery may help you elsewhere. But now we can take 2 shots as long as we have 2 in the magazine. But I think that'll do for this first episode. Again, we only got the kill, well, we got a turkey as well, didn't we? But we only got the beginner kill. We're going to head over to where we need to go to find the blacktail. Next time out, we'll track down some blacktail, as well as finding the tracks. We'll see if we can pop 1 or 2 off. And yeah, but hopefully you've enjoyed this. A little bit of a tutorial, a little bit of sharing what little knowledge I have. Like I say, I am no expert. I'm no flinter. I'm no Jaxie Beard. But I do like this game. I spent a lot of time playing it. And I'm looking forward to rediscovering it again with everything new that's been added in. And eventually travelling around, visiting the different maps, finding the different animals, and unraveling the stories, like I say, through the quests that I've never really bothered with before. So if you have enjoyed this, give it a big fat thumbs up down below. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, turn the bell notification on, find out when new videos are going live. As always, comments and feedback down there. You guys have a wonderful day, and hopefully I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.